Hey, welcome everybody to episode 61 of the We All Serve podcast. I'm back without my battle buddy, Angel Torres. Again, I think he is completely scared of the upcoming Army Navy game and scared to hang out with me because, frankly, we've got the better uniform, we've got the cooler people, and we're going to win. Go Army, beat Navy. But I can say that now. If he was on the screen with me, he'd probably virtually beat me up, and I'm scared of him. But I'll take advantage of the time. Angel, bottom line, you don't show up. No show. I get to call the shots. But for all of you joining in on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, evening, wherever you might be, thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us. I'm very excited for our conversation today, where I'm going to chat with Frank Goehringer from Pride Industries, an organization that I've been fascinated with, and we'll talk more about that in just a little bit, for their social mission and for the work that they're doing on many military installations, including some that I've been fortunate to serve on. But I also want to get to know the person behind the microphone, Frank himself, who served 21 plus years in the Army. So I know he's with me on this whole Army Navy game thing. So we'll have fun. But before I bring in Frank, just a reminder that however you are listening to this, whether it's on a podcast after we air, make sure you subscribe, rate, review, and share. It makes it easier for people to find the show, which is all about service, as I say each and every week on this show. It's not whether you put the uniform on, and all kidding aside, no matter which uniform you wear, what matters is that you serve in your community, that you make a difference in your community, have that social impact that I just mentioned. And we need it now more than ever. We need people that are willing to step up and serve in hospitals, just lend a helping hand in your communities, and that is service. And for that, we are so grateful. And if you are watching live, that means you get the joys of actually seeing me on camera and seeing our guest on camera, who I'm going to bring in just a quick minute. But finally, as we have this conversation in December of 2021, or whenever you might be tuning in to the recording, I hope you are staying safe, staying healthy with your families. And certainly, I just wrapped up a week-long celebration of Hanukkah on multiple military installations. Quite a festive time, festival of lights, and for all of you getting ready for what will be, no doubt, a beautiful holiday season. I hope that you are enjoying and getting ready to enjoy with your families and friends, and again, celebrating safely. So with that, I am very excited to bring in. There we go. There he is. I'm very excited to bring in Frank Goehringer, who I just mentioned. He joined Pride Industries in 2012 after serving 21 years in the California Army National Guard and one tour of duty. Doesn't look like he served 21 years, but we'll get into that. We'll talk about that. I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003. He's a service-connected disabled veteran. And while serving in the National Guard, Frank worked in real estate as a loan officer and a realtor. At Pride Industries, Frank supports 3 departments: recruiting, to help facilitate the recruiting of veterans; the Rehabilitation Department, by providing supportive services to veteran employees, as well as supporting the Proposal Department when responding to RFPs by drafting recruiting strategies to hire veterans. Frank's passion on the personal side is to help veterans by volunteering and supporting the veteran support organizations, American Legion, AUSA, the ES, the employer Sacramento Employer Resource Group, the Veterans Affiliated Council, and the VFW. And in his spare time, you'll find Frank enjoying time with his family, traveling, and outdoor sports. So that's quite a bio, quite an introduction. Frank, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Shalom. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about pride in a little bit, and I know you love what you do so much that even when we're on this podcast, you're wearing a pride shirt. I believe it's somewhere tucked over there. There we go. But let's talk about you. Let's talk about the person behind the microphone. You served 21 years. Tell us about you, why you came in to the California Army National Guard, and after that, maybe we'll talk a little bit about some of your stories.
Well, the first and primary reason why I joined the military is I love our country and I wanted to serve. And there's many people that fought for our freedoms, and I wanted to make sure I can carry on that tradition and provide that not only for my children but also future generations. So it's an honor and privilege to serve.
And you know what? It's amazing. Being an Army reservist myself, it's amazing the work that our guardsmen and reservists do in juggling multiple lives. I mentioned that in my quick introduction of you, that you juggled working as a loan officer, as a realtor. I mean, juggling those careers while also juggling increasing responsibility, serving 21 years. So you Frank, tell us about your what rank did you retire as?
I retired as E6 Staff Sergeant.
Fantastic. So certainly some fantastic leadership responsibilities as an E6. Um, and what was your MOS?
I had several MOSs. Administrative Specialist was a 71 Lima when I first joined. It was the MP unit, so I also went to MP school. And then shortly thereafter, transferred over to San Francisco to 223rd MI.
Oh my
So
goodness! Wow,
military
you are
intelligence.
intelligent, secure, and organized administrative professional. Lots of careers in there. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Cool. And I know that you deployed and into Iraq, I believe. And so, I mean, you always know that when you come into the service, you know that it's honestly it's expected that you come into the job ready to do whatever the country, whatever the nation calls on you to do. So I mean, if you can talk about your deployment, talk about the unit that you deployed with, and what your experiences were like, and sort of walking away from that civilian career, walking away from family, and going into harm's way.
I thought it'd be a relatively an easy process. 1 year doesn't seem like a tremendous amount of time. And being a reservist, I thought, with my family, I get to see my family all the time, and having that opportunity to serve, there was things that I had to. I was actually divorced at that time period when I got deployed. So when I was divorced, I had to go ahead and transfer all my bank accounts and everything else over to my girlfriend to take care of my financial needs, making sure everything was secure out on the home front. And I thought, it's just going to be a little blip of our life. So 1 year is not going to be too much of a change. And when I got downrange and so forth, things happened. Got hurt early on. I didn't see too much in the battlefield, but I saw more of the aftermath. So after several months being in theater, I blew up my knee taking cover from a Scud missile attack, and was medevaced out of theater. And while I was being medevaced, we lost 4 soldiers. So that was the day I was supposed to push further into Iraq during that time period. I ended up at Joint Base Lewis McChord. At that time was Fort Lewis, Washington. Had some knee surgery and rehabilitative services. Rejoined my unit and came back home. But what I had seen at Fort Lewis, the aftermath, a lot of soldiers with traumatic brain injury, PTSD, vertigo, loss of limbs. So my passion is to help fellow soldiers. So upon my return, I thought, my way of giving back is to support those organizations, and first and foremost, I got to say this too for the employers out there. Wells Fargo was my employer during that time period, and they had a salary program where they maintain your salary. So if your income was less than the military income, less than what your basic pay was for the military and so forth, they'd go ahead and compensate the difference. So ESGR has a fantastic program for the employer support group for the Guard and Reserve. Great, great program. They received a Patriot Award for supporting veterans, which is really nice. Um,
Yeah, and
so it
they
was,
deserve it. They deserve it for sure. That's awesome. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it was just a great opportunity, and when I came back home and I hooked up with different organizations, American Legion, the VFW, Disabled American Veterans Association, U.S. Army, and I thought, this is my opportunity to spend some time and connect with my fellow soldiers and support those soldiers in need. And I've been truly blessed. I had a really nice career in real estate and as a loan officer and as a realtor. Then I got hooked up with Pride Industries, and that's where my passion is.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're going to talk all about that. But wow, what a story! And thank you for your service, and thank you to all of the employers and to all of the families that obviously support that service, and especially now, you know, the war ain't over, and the reality is that actually guardsmen and reservists are being called up more than ever, frankly. So that is that's quite a story. I I have to ask, and I talk to all of our guests about this. Can you tell us about your best friend or greatest mentor from your time in uniform? And are you still in touch with folks that you served with and that you deployed with?
It's real interesting. I wouldn't say it would be any one person. It's the group of individuals. I keep in contact with as many veterans that I served with as possible. We get together on a regular basis. Events, it could be parties, it could be meeting at the VFW. We do participate in the Buddy Call 22. So basically, what Buddy Call 22 is reaching out to fellow soldiers in need, and try. It's a health and welfare check. So we make phone calls and send emails or send a text message. Hey, buddy, you okay? And we try to keep in contact with one another. So I wouldn't say there's any, let's say, one person. It's basically as a collective group, we support each other.
Yeah, that's incredible, and that's what it's all about. And again, I'm currently serving, and the relationships that I've developed are amazing. And you get to know people at such an amazing level, and you have just so much in common. It is just an extended family, which is awesome. And I should say that about ESGR. So I'm fortunate to serve as the employer outreach chair for the state of Illinois for ESGR, and so passionate about the work that we do because it enables those service members to deploy, and where appropriate to adjudicate issues. But far better than fixing issues is when you get to deliver that Patriot Award, celebrate employers that are doing the right thing. So let's talk about employers. So
Mhm.
Frank, as I mentioned, you are with Pride Industries. You've been with Pride for almost a decade now. It sounds like, and which is awesome. So I have to say that I'm currently on Fort Bliss, and you can't drive a block without seeing a Pride Industries truck here on Fort Bliss, painting something, mowing a lawn, doing something. And I'll tell you, up until a month or two ago, I really didn't know anything about the company. And once I learned, honestly, I've been blown away. And that's when I reached out to you and your team, said, "Gosh, we have to profile you. We have to talk about the work that you do." And I have to say to you and your entire team, thank you. Thank you for all that you're doing. And it's exciting to see that social impact within an organization. So, Frank, before we talk about your time at Pride, tell us just overall the mission and why the company exists.
Oh, we have a fantastic story on that. um, Pride Industries was basically born out of a church, basement of St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Auburn, California. A small group of parents came together, and their children had developmental and learning type disabilities, and so they wanted them to be self-sufficient when they passed on. So they focused on two areas: life skills coaching and job coaching, so they could have independent living and be successful. So now we fast forward, and this was back in 1956 or 1966. So fast forward 55 years later, now we have 6,000 employees in 22 states. Our annual revenues are roughly about $350 million. We're fully self-functional. We do have a foundation. We do a lot in the local community. We do a lot to help out people with disabilities. About 65% of our workforce are people with disabilities.
Yeah, and I am the Jewish lay leader on Fort Bliss. I lead. There's no Jewish chaplain, so I lead all of the services and programs. And so there was about a month or two ago, we had a work order that we needed for something in the chapel. So I worked through my NCOIC. We put the work order request in. Somebody showed up, and he came to do the work, and I realized that there was a language barrier. So and I'm in El Paso, so it's common that we have many folks that don't speak a perfect English, and that's great. So I called over an NCO and I said I need help, and then he came and he said, "Sir, this isn't a language barrier. This individual is deaf." I was like, "Oh, wow." And then that was the moment that it hit the work that Pride does. I actually Googled it, and I started learning a little bit about that mission. So, again, for my friends and battle buddies that are tuning in from Fort Bliss, I know you know what I'm talking about, and I know that you see it. And frankly, we need to tell the story a lot more about the mission and the story, the roots of Pride Industries. But Frank, beyond Fort Bliss, Where else is Pride serving? I know you do a lot of military installations, a lot of government, but where else?
So we got roughly about 54 DoD contracts at different military bases. We also have the Bureau of Engraving and Printing in Fort Worth, Texas. That's where all the currency is being printed at the current time. We have an airport, Sacramento National Airport. We are certified to do hospitals. We do have two contracts working on a hospital on the prison grounds, California Department of Corrections in Stockton, and also the California Medical Facility in Vacaville, California. We do have some unique contracts. Fort Gillem, Georgia is a crime scene, and there's certain caveats as far as the application process. So candidates have to submit a DNA sample. Locations such as Navy Base Ventura County, where they have the nuclear subs and so forth, require top secret security clearance. So there's some of those sensitive type contracts. We have a lot of commercial custodial contracts around the country. And right now, I believe we have roughly about 150 courthouses. So we primarily do building maintenance, ground maintenance, custodial type work. And then in addition to that, we have one electronics division, Roseville, California, where our headquarters is.
Wow. I'm chatting with Fred Goehringer from Pride Industries, talking first about some of the areas where Pride Industries is serving many government contracts. Fascinating work. And I know Pride is involved with so much more than just fixing a door and landscaping. What are some of the services and skills and capabilities that your team at Pride Industries has?
It's truly amazing. We hire from everything from entry level positions, custodial, to executive director positions. Um, a lot of the contracts we do get are from Ability One, their set aside program for people with disabilities. So a base commander can put the contract out for competitive bid, or they can give it to a nonprofit organization. It goes underneath the umbrella of Ability One. And under that umbrella is Source America, and they have approximately about 500 NPAs, nonprofit agencies like Pride Industries. We are, I believe, it was one of the larger ones with about $350 million in revenue. Goodwill Industries is another one with, I think they have the greatest number of employees. But the supports that we provide for people with disabilities would be job coaching, counseling, career counseling, job placement services. So we have a pretty robust department. We have a very, very robust department when it comes to rehabilitation services.
You certainly do. That's incredible. And so, Frank, talking about your role, you are obviously a veteran. You're in this position. How did you make your way over to Pride Industries? And tell us a little bit about what your day to day looks like.
It's quite interesting. I got invited to attend a career fair with a friend, and our former or late president CEO was also in the National Guard, and he always used to say, "No one finds pride by accident." And there's always a purpose. There's always a mission. And when I walked over and saw the banner Pride Industries and it had power of purpose. So I walked over there to find out a little bit more about it and spoke to the recruiter and kind of told him my story. I like to help out veterans. And he goes, "You know what? I really like to see if our organization can hire some more veterans." So a few months later, they actually carved out a new position. So instead of a recruiting position, it's actually a veterans liaison. And so there's three components to it. One is to recruit veterans. And under that component, work with a lot of referral partners because we're recruiting a lot of disabled veterans. So we work with the VA, Voc Rehab and Employment Service, state workforce agencies, the DevOps, the Wounded Warrior programs from each one of the branches, the Army Recovery Care Program, Navy Safe Harbor, AFW2 program from the Air Force, Wounded Warrior Regiment, a lot of other nonprofit organizations that we get referrals from. And then on the rehab services side, work very, very closely with our rehab department because we have a lot of individuals that are working in physically demanding positions. So those Department of Defense contracts I was talking to you about, half of them are working in the commissaries. And so they start 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening, work to 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and they're doing stocking shelves. And so that's a lot of lifting and bending and stooping and clearing out the shelves. And the other part of the contract would be janitorial services. So those types of jobs are very, very physically demanding. In addition to that, the other half are base operating support services contracts, total facilities maintenance. So, like at Fort Bliss, what you had mentioned, that's our largest contract. There's roughly 450, almost 500 employees out there. We have almost, I believe, about 100 veterans that are currently working on site, and about 70% of those veterans have disabilities.
That is, let me make sure my, yeah, there we go. My mic is on. That is absolutely awesome. And I see it day to day, and now I'm sort of more acutely aware of what's going on around me, and that's incredible. So you mentioned the foundation. I know even though you are a self-sufficient organization, you do continue to have a foundation. What does that foundation do? And as we sort of get closer to the conclusion of our conversation, what's the call to action? What can people do to support that foundation, and support the amazing, amazing work that Pride Industries is doing?
So the foundation does a lot in the local community. They do a lot for our employees. What we do offer is paid internships. So, and I'll give you a couple examples. And um, we brought in a individual very recently that is service connected as well, has some PTSD issues and those kind of things, and brought him in to help with recruiting. So he retired after 22 years in the Army, 16 of which as a recruiter, and now he's a full-time employee. So our internship program is no more than 25 hours in a week, 250 hours maximum, with the intent that there'll be a job at the end of the internship. And if there's no job at the internship, then we have job developers that will do job placement services.
Hmm.
So these paid internships are fantastic. Along with the internship, we want to make sure the individual's successful. So they have a job coach that works with them, and they also have a counselor. So there's all the support mechanisms to make sure the individual's successful. So now this individual's been with us for almost a 1 year anniversary now. So it's just fantastic. Our veteran numbers are increasing as far as our veteran hires. There's another example of going through our local EDD office, State Workforce Agency. We had a individual that had some significant issues with PTSD and those kind of things, and wasn't sure what exactly where he felt in the place. So I invited him to our corporate headquarters. Gave him a tour of our facility. Bear in mind, our corporate headquarters is kind of split up in three different areas. You have your administrative functions, and another area is basically warehousing. So we do a lot of fulfillment services for Hewlett Packard, and he was able to see all the trucks and the pallets and materials that we're moving. We ship out roughly about 3,000 units a day of printers and toners and those kind of things. And then also we have electronics division, and where people are either working individually, soldering components onto circuit boards, or sometimes they may work in a group setting. They may put T-packs together or nuts and bolts for solar packages. So sometimes people with disabilities like to work in a team environment.
Hmm.
So this individual, and then also we walked past the mailroom, goes, you know what? Uh, what's truly amazing is to see their eyes light up, going, you know what? I can do that. What is that position? I want to do that. So this one internship was actually split into three areas. Working in the mailroom, it was also doing electronics, and it was also working in the warehouse. And that led into a full-time employment for this individual as well.
Yeah, that's amazing, and those impact stories are really, I'm sure, what makes it all worth it. So, uh, I've learned a lot in our conversation over here. I've learned a lot in terms of the work that, again, Pride Industries is doing, has been doing, the story behind the organization, a little bit about that foundation, of course, your story, Frank. And I know that there are a lot of opportunities, both for veterans as well as for those with disabilities. And I'm sure our listeners are sort of eagerly looking for how they can learn more and get in touch with you and your amazing, amazing team at Pride Industries. Where can we send them?
You know, there's a couple different things that we just added on very recently. If individuals are looking for employment, they can text the word purpose to the number 242424, And what will happen is there'll be a link that'll go onto the individual cell phone, and they can search our hourly type positions, or more or less entry level positions. Pride Industries, great organization as far as advancement opportunities. People can start off as, let's say, a custodian, get promoted to a lead, supervisor, manager, regional manager, or they can start off in skilled trades with material trades helper and get promoted to a building maintenance technician, then get certified as HVAC or a carpenter. So there's plenty of advancement opportunities, and also the ability to relocate across the country because we are in 22 states. In addition to that, we do have a brand new I Am Able hotline. So people can dial 844 I Am Able, and they can reach our department. And if they are a veteran, and they can get funneled right into my particular area, and I can work with them one on one. Like to work with veterans. We have a lot of veterans out there that may need help with resume preparation. There's a lot of younger soldiers that never had to do a resume. They lived at home with their parents, and attended high school, and then after high school they had a choice: college, or get a job, or serve the military. And if they went on to college, then they're ready for their career because 4 years had gone by. Or if they were with an employer, they're getting promoted. But these individuals, they went to basic training and then advanced individual training, got down range, and some battle drills, and come back, and they may not be the same. So a lot of the wounded warriors out there need additional supports. So in some cases, they have to identify my new me, who I am, and that's something I really take pride in, is trying to help out those individuals. So we work with them with the resumes, interview prep, and I want to make sure if they take the time to fill out the application, that be considered for it. So I always check back with them. Give me a phone call or send a text or email. Hey, I applied for this position. Where do I stand? I want to make sure my application's complete. So, and the best way to reach out is 844 I Am Able is the line. And I also give up my cell phone number as well, 916 Or they can go ahead and my name should be on screen, frank.goehringer at prideindustries.com. Try to make myself as accessible as possible. And I think one of the greatest challenges that we have a lot of veterans out there that, I've submitted an application, never heard back. Well, I want to make sure that, that they're recognized, thank them for applying, and I'll follow up with them as well.
Frank, you take pride, no doubt, in everything that you do, and I'm honestly blown away. I'll be honest, I'm completely and totally blown away, and I look forward to finding so many ways to collaborate with you and your team, and just spreading the word to those in the community, raising awareness. Because frankly, I think that not enough people know your story. And that of Pride Industries, and know about the amazing work that you and your team are doing. And truly, God bless you and your team for your commitment. It's not every day that we have somebody that's serving in an organization that's clearly growing, busier than ever, that's thrown his cell phone number out there and just saying, "Reach out. Let me see how I can help you, and let's see how we can make a difference together." And that continued support. And I know that everybody in your organization, regardless of abilities, um, they take pride in serving those that serve, those that put the uniform on, and I see it each and every day when I'm at the commissary, and when I'm walking around Fort Bliss, and they treat every soldier, regardless of rank, title, or position, with enormous respect. How are you, sir? And just being very, very careful to make sure that everything that they do is meticulous, and that it's all enabling, again, that incredible service. So again, I've been chatting with Frank Goehringer from Pride Industries. Amazing, amazing organization. I've learned a lot, and I hope that everybody here has as well. And I hope that if you remember one thing, it's share this, share this recording with somebody. Tell them about the organization, and have them again text, email, call. But learn more. At the very least, just learn more, and make sure that somebody that either needs that maybe an opportunity. There are opportunities that it sounds like are growing around the country, and who knows, maybe even around the world. Those opportunities are there. And finally, my final comment over here is, I hope that this will inspire other organizations. I hope that this will inspire other companies to develop that mission, and be copycats. I think that that's a good thing. I think that if there's something that a company can do, is in looking at the example of Pride Industries, and developing that social mission, and hiring those of all abilities, that would make me so proud indeed to hear those stories. So definitely, again, if you are not yet subscribed, please do so, because we always have amazing people like Frank Goehringer. Frank, thank you for your service. Thank you for your continued service, as we say each and every week on this program. We all serve, and you are continuing to serve in your capacity. Pride Industry is doing some amazing things. So thank you so much for taking time on a busy Tuesday evening to join us in this conversation. And I look forward to staying in touch, and, as I said, developing many synergies with you. Any final comments as we conclude this conversation?
Yes, please. People want to connect with Pride Industries. Our website is prideindustries.com. We have over 1,000 jobs available across the country. Plenty of opportunities to come in with little no experience to fully experienced. So I want to take this opportunity and thank Shalom for it's been a pleasure. So I want to thank you for this opportunity to talk about Pride Industries today.
Oh, thank you. I hope that this will be the first of many conversations, and I'm excited. I'm truly pumped up, and it has nothing to do with this cup of coffee that I'm holding in my hands. I'm excited. I'm caffeinated, and I'm just motivated by the work that you're doing. So again, Frank, thank you so much. As we said, and again, to all of our listeners, we all serve, and we look forward to sharing your stories. Get in touch with me. And be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share. And we'll be back with another conversation on the next episode of the We All Serve podcast. That's a wrap for us. Thank you so much.